Hey everyone, how much do you really know about one of the oldest and most fascinating cultures on the entire planet? Well, today we're going to find out. We're diving into a fun quiz all about the incredible history, technology, and culture of the San people of Southern Africa. Let's see how you do.
Okay, the rules are super simple. I'll ask a question, give you a few seconds to think it over, and then, bam, I'll reveal the answer and share some amazing details behind it. Sound good? All right, let's get started.
So for our first section, it's all about survival. We're going to look at the absolutely brilliant tools and techniques the San people came up with to thrive in the pretty challenging landscapes of Southern Africa.
Okay, first question up. What single piece of technology was a total game changer for San hunting, making them way more effective? Take a guess.
If you guessed the bow and arrow, you are absolutely right. This was a huge leap forward. Think about it. It meant hunters didn't have to get dangerously close to their prey anymore. It gave them stealth, precision, and the power to hunt much larger game, which was, completely essential for their survival.
So, we know they had the bow and arrow, but what made their arrows so incredibly deadly? This is a two-part answer. What did they use for the tip, and what special something did they put on it?
And the answer is just this amazing mix of geology and biology. The arrowheads themselves were typically made from super sharp stones, but the real genius was the coating, a powerful poison which they often got from the larvae of a tiny beetle. This meant that even a small nick could bring down a huge animal. So clever.
So they had the right tools for sure, but what about the technique? The San were absolute masters of skill and patience. Can you think of one of their expert hunting strategies?
This is just incredible to think about. They were expert trackers, right? They could read the land like a book and follow the faintest footprints for miles. They were masters of the silent stalk, but they were also famous for something called persistence hunting. They would literally chase an animal for hours, sometimes even days, until it just collapsed from pure exhaustion. Wow.
Okay, so picture this. The hunt is successful, or they've caught a ton of fish. What happens next? This question really gets to the heart of their community. How was all that food shared?
And the answer really shows you their two core values, community and ingenuity. On land, a big kill wasn't just for the hunter who made it, no way. The meat was always divided up and shared with the entire clan. And by the sea, they were just as clever, building these stone fish traps that use the ocean's own tides to catch dinner for everybody.
All right, on to part 2. We're shifting from how they survived to how they all lived together. This part is all about their society, their community, and the beliefs that really held them all together.
Now, the San were nomadic, which means they were always on the move. And that really influenced how big their communities were. So, any guesses on how many people would typically live in a single clan group?
Usually it was somewhere between 12 and 40 people, and this size was just perfect for their lifestyle. It was big enough to be a strong support system, but it was also small enough to be mobile and not use up all the resources in one spot too quickly. It was the perfect balance.
Okay, so think about this. Without any formal schools, how did they pass down all that essential knowledge from one generation to the next? There were two main ways. What do you think they were? Education basically happened in two really important ways. First, by watching and doing. Kids learned all the crucial life skills, hunting, gathering, finding water, just by being with their elders and helping out. And the second way? Through stories. Elders would pass down all the wisdom, the values, and the history of their people around the campfire.
This next question really gets to the absolute core of the San worldview. It shaped everything about their relationship with nature and every animal they came across. What was this fundamental belief? And the answer is this simple but incredibly powerful idea. They believed that all living things have an equal right to exist. This wasn't about humans being in charge of nature. It was about being part of nature. This belief created such a deep respect for the environment and every single creature they shared it with.
And now, we're at our final section. We're going to dive into the spirit world, exploring the rich rituals, the deep beliefs, and of course the incredible art the San people left behind.
Okay, another two-parter for you. In the San spiritual world, one particular animal was super important in their rituals, and one spirit was absolutely central to their beliefs. Can you name them both?
Their most sacred animal was the eland, which is the largest antelope in southern Africa. Its spiritual power was a huge part of major life events, like a first hunt or a marriage. And their most important spiritual being was Kagan. That first sound is a click. He was a creator, a trickster, and he often showed up in the form of a praying mantis.
So, the San left behind thousands of these breathtaking rock paintings. But they weren't just for decoration. What was the deeper meaning behind this art? And what did they actually use to create the paints?
Well, this art was way more than just decoration. It was literally a portal to the spirit world. Shamans would enter a trance and paint the visions they saw, creating a direct link between our world and the spiritual realm. And the paints themselves were made from the earth, pigments like ochre mixed with things like blood, animal fat, and plant juices.
All right, here is our final question, and it connects this ancient history directly to modern South Africa. The national coat of arms actually features two human figures taken from a very famous piece of San rock art. Do you know the name of that artifact?
The answer is the Linton Stone. It's one of the most important and detailed pieces of San rock art ever found. Including it on the coat of arms is this powerful tribute to the San as the first people of the nation. And that brings us to a final question, just for you to think about. When you consider their deep respect for nature, their focus on community, and their rich spiritual world, what can the San way of life teach all of us today? Thanks for playing along. Hope you had fun.